Gamers and gentlefolk, hello and welcome back to another season of the Nexus Gaming Series. I'm going to be your host, The Sound, and I am excited to take a look here at Division C as we get into Week 1 of Season 19. Happy to have you all here to cheer on our two teams. We're going to be seeing Ginormous Jaegers taking on Deny Defend Dehaka. This is a best-of-3 series. A little bit of background about these two teams. Ginormous Jaegers actually bringing some fresh faces to NGS. We've got a handful of rookies on that squad, as well as returning players from seasons gone by. On the other side of the battleground, Deny Defend Dehaka are a familiar team with a new name. They were Die for Cats last season, and they won Division D East. So we're going to see how they perform with their new moniker. We can take a look at the map selection here before we get into our first game. We had the coin flip go over to Ginormous Jaegers, who opted for first pick with map bans on Brax's Holdout and Battlefield of Eternity, while Dehaka responded with bans on Garden of Terror and Dragonshire, and we are headed to Alterac Pass for Game 1. So we have all the players ready and raring to go in the lobby, so we should be off to our first draft here shortly. And with Ginormous Jaegers being a team with very little NGS history, there wasn't a lot of scouting for me to work off of. I know that some of their players have some funkier picks, but it's hard to say if that's more of a Storm League phenomenon or something that we can expect them to pull out here in a organized game. On the other side, Deny Defend Dehaka have a pretty high Sonya priority, and she's a pretty decent hero for this battleground. Her ability to take the knolls is pretty decent, and Leap, of course, getting over terrain can be a really threatening way to engage onto anyone lurking around the prisoner camps for the objective. So I'll be interested to see if Ginormous Jaegers are going to look to try and take that away from Deny Defend Dehaka. It's, of course, not necessarily the most meta choice, so at least in my mind for the battleground. I think of Dehaka, or I'm sorry, not Dehaka. The fact that Deny Defend Dehaka has a hero's name in their team name is definitely going to mess me up. So stick with me, folks. Hogger is the hero that I was going to reference as one of the more popular meta first picks. His ability to take the knolls, of course, is what puts him in such a prime position. And of course, you've got other heroes that are uniquely good on the battleground. We've got Anubarak in the tank slot, who's got the ability to kind of cheese the objective with his trait beetles. So we'll see how much of that comes to play here in this draft, and how much they're instead going to be focusing on comfort picks. You can see first ban Brightwing for Ginormous Jaegers. And they already denied the Dehaka, so they're sticking to their namesake for Game 1. And both heroes occupy that global slot, so on a battleground as large as Alterac, it's not too surprising to see such a heavy focus on those heroes. Were I in Deny Defend Dehaka's shoes, I would keep the global bans rolling with a Falstad ban here. his ability to control boss pits with Gust and the Global are both really powerful on the battleground. And it's one of the only globals left, instead opting for the Junkrat ban. Alright, so Ginormous Jaegers, first pick of the first game that they're playing in the series and the season. There are plenty of powerful assassins still available. The Hogger, as mentioned, it's going to be an Anduin first pick. Interesting. Pretty safe. Not necessarily what I would think of as the power pick that one might hope for in the first slot, but it could very well be that this is a strong denial pick. Hanzo and Johanna. Okay, so Johanna, despite receiving nerfs in the most recent patch, definitely still a high priority for lots of teams. And there's Valavarian. Alright. The Rin family in full force here. So there is follow-up CC for the Varian. Of course, that's assuming the Varian is a taunt Varian and not Colossal Smash, which would mean that Ginormous Jaegers still need an offlaner. I'd expect to see Triple D pick one of those out of the rotation, instead opting for an Orphea ban. Okay, so more of a targeted approach. Orphea also offers some soft boss control in the form of Feast, making it untenable to stand on capture points. We're going to see the Rhaegar ban. Okay. A smart choice, given that they had already picked a healer away and banned 3 others, so Deny Defend Dehaka have far fewer to choose from. Of course, there are still plenty of strong healers left. Oriel, most notably, having received lots of buffs in the most recent patch. Well, I don't know about lots, but she certainly seems quite strong right now. Alright, Tassadar Deckard instead. Okay. So they've shored up their wave clear a bit with the Tass. Hanzo may opt for the serrated arrowheads at level 4, which would give them a strong ability to burn through boss HP if they so chose. Last 2 picks here for Ginormous Jaegers. They still need an offlaner and one more flex pick. There's the Sonya and an Asmodan. Okie doke. Not what I would have expected, but spicy nonetheless. The Demon Lieutenant can get a lot of value here. Not a global per se, but able to get soak and push in a far lane nonetheless. Last choice here for Triple D. We'll see what Arrow picks up. It's going to be ETC. Interesting. So either an offlane Johanna or offlane ETC. Either way, not the most common of offlaners. I still like the pickup nonetheless. And it looks like Deny Defend Dehaka have a great deal of wave clear and map presence between the Johanna and Tassadar and maybe Hanzo, depending on his level 4. On the other side, Ginormous Jaegers don't have as much clear-cut wave clear. Varian doesn't bring any to speak of. Vala's is only okay. So it looks like Ginormous Jaegers are really going to be hoping to get picks with that Varian Anduin combo with a little Vala damage behind it. I think I like Dehaka's draft a little bit better than Ginormous Jaegers, but it is anyone's guess who will end up taking it. And we can get into game number 1 here, and we'll see who indeed can take it. And introducing our teams here on the left in blue, we've got Ginormous Jaegers, Nemesis on Vala, Kotab on Anduin, Ogle the Great on Asmodan, Gambit playing Sonya, and 9.20 on Varian. To the right, in red, we've got Deny Defend Dehaka. Lulu on Deckard, Arthanau on Tassadar, Whole Foods on Johanna, Warwolf playing Hanzo, and Arrow on the ETC. Checking in on our level 1 talents, we've got Johanna headed to top lane, so I would expect that means it's an off-lane Johanna rather than an off-lane ETC. Perhaps Johanna trying to scout out any sort of Demon Lieutenant cheese on the side of Ginormous Jaegers. And we've got a lot of different quest talents here. ETC is looking for globes with Prog Rocket level 1. It's going to pick up 2 already. Tassadar with the Shock Ray at level 1. And then on the other side, of course, Nemesis opting for Hungering Arrow at level 1. Ogle the Great has opted for Gluttony. So hoping to land plenty of globes onto heroes. Warwolf making it down here. They've opted for Redemption at level 1. So they're going to be able to pump out a lot of DPS once they get their stacks together. Nemesis and Koteb here on the left for the Jaegers getting through this Null camp, and on the right, Arthanau and Lulu doing the same for Dehaka. Triple D was here a little bit earlier, and I think Arthanau gets through these a little bit faster than Nemesis. I say that, of course, but Vala is in fact chunking right through it. So pretty much neck and neck there on the siege camps. Warwolf trying to trade a little bit with Ogle the Great, get some of these redemption stacks. Checking back in on mid lane. Ginormous Jaeger is playing it very safe while they don't have a tank. Varian, in fact, a melee minion up until level 4. But with Deny Defend Dehaka only committing 3 heroes to mid lane, in spite of the relative weakness of the Varian pre-4, Jaegers are gonna get the clear ahead of Dehaka. Level 4s on both sides here. We've got potions of shielding for Lulu. Lots of folks tend to prefer Ruby in this day and age, but I do think potions of shielding still very good talent. Whole Foods has opted for Hold Your Ground at level 4 rather than the instant minion kill, which is Eternal Retaliation. Oh, Arthanau getting rotated on here. 9.20 gets the taunt. Nemesis vaulting in with a second Hungering Arrow thanks to their level 4 repeating arrow. And that pick could lead to the first channel in favor of Dehaka. They're instead going to head right over to the true objective of the map, Null Camp here on the left. Of course, Deny Defend Dehaka aren't that far behind. They are missing some experience here in top lane. Sonya was able to push that out. Gambit faring a little bit better into the Johanna lane than Whole Foods is. Checking in on our redemption stacks. Hanzo up to 6 already, so halfway through. Level 7s on both sides here. Ignore all distractions for Warwolf. Okay. Not what I would have guessed. With the mid lane pushing in favor of Dehaka. Wow, that's a lot of damage onto Nemesis. A big chunk from Arthanau. Warwolf just trying to cut rotations here. And that's the first objective channel going over to Deny Defend Dehaka. They're continuing to lose some experience there in top lane. They've lost a little bit in that one takedown, but they've also missed some in the minion XP. On the bot side, we can see Warwolf taking a lot of damage from Ogle the Great. Arrow getting a little bit more progress there on the objective channel. So just under 4 seconds left for Deny Defend Dehaka before they secure their prisoner camp. Of course, the longer this slow game goes out, the more it favors the Jaegers, because they are creeping towards their heroics. Arthanau caught out once again. Tassadar not respecting the fact that Varian is out of vision, and so that takedown will buy Ginormous Jaegers all the room they need to channel this objective. Whole Foods has a couple interrupts here with the blinds, but Nemesis will get the channel in the end. With Sonya taking the camp over on the left side of the battleground, this is a 5v4 in favor of Deny Defend Dehaka. Arthanau immediately begins the channel on the prison camp and stalls it with 16 seconds left. So Jaegers make decent progress, and they're right around the corner from their heroics here. A lot of damage onto Nemesis once again. There's the pull from Koteb. Leap of Faith able to save Vala's life. Ogul the Great gets one stall, looking for another one, but they're not going to get it in time. So with 10s secured, Ginormous Jaegers have to give that first objective as they waited for their heroics. Of course, they could look to defend very aggressively now. Speaking of heroics, we've got Strafe, Light Bomb, Blackpool, and Sonya heavily considering. I'm expecting it to be Leap, but with Warpaint, I could see a strong argument for Wrath as well. Dehaka just around the corner from their level 10s as well, and there they have them. Heroics available now. It is Leap from Gambit, likely looking for Arthanau in these fights. We've got Dragon's Arrow, Mosh Pit, Stay a While and Listen, Black Hole, and nothing yet from Johanna. Dehaka getting most of this front wall down in top lane. There's the rest of it. Checking in on mid lane, Whole Foods was able to escort the objective up and take down some towers here as well. Arrow taking a lot of damage. There's the leap. Another potion will save them, but of course that's a little too close for Arthanau's liking. They commit the black hole to get Arrow out to safety. How'd things go in the bot lane? Warwolf able to get a little bit of push down here. So front walls battered on all three lanes for Ginormous Jaegers. Deny Defend Dehaka weathered the storm of the slower experience, got through the window where Varian is much stronger thanks to their heroic before level 10s come online. Warwolf playing it very cautiously with the Sonic Arrow. 9.20, maybe thinking about doing a rotation deep here, but Arthanau and Warwolf are still safe. And it's just a manual push by the Jaegers here on bot lane. They can do this thanks to the siege generation provided by Varian and Ogul the Great. 9.20 taking a lot of damage. There's the Leap of Faith. Dragon's Arrow follow-up interrupts a great mosh pit, catches 3, but in the end, it's the ETC to fall. 9.20 very low here. Whole Foods able to jump in with the falling sword. Arthanau takes him out. Lulu taken out by Nemesis on the backside of the engagement. Ogul the Great will make it out to safety. Level 13s on both sides. So the takedowns all but evened up here. Lulu lost their life to a very cheeky play from Nemesis. Without their healer present, Deny Defend Dehaka's choice to start this boss seems a little questionable to me. Ogul the Great is here to look for the kill. It's a full HP Asmodan. Oh my god. Almost killing everyone. There's the slide in from Arrow just in time. Ogul the Great won't make it. A daring play, definitely worth a shot. A little bit more power on that last dunk, and they would have gotten a triple kill. But in the end, Dehaka able to secure the first boss of the game, which will put a fair bit of pressure here into bot lane. With 3 of the Jaegers responding to the boss, it looks like Deny Defend Dehaka are going to sneak up to the top boss. Werewolf kind of giving away the position here. Level 13's, what have we unlocked? We've got, what is that one called? Mounted Archery. So every time Werewolf uses their trait, they're immediately mounted. A very spear-based build for Sonya, opting for both Poison Spear and Mystic Spear at 7 and 13 respectively. Bot Fort down to about 50% HP, but Ginormous Jaegers save it nonetheless. They're able to start the channel here on the objective. Arrow gets the Mosh onto 3, but in the end, they're not able to catch anyone but the Varian. Varian makes it out alive. Whole Foods able to secure the kill with 1 more flashlight. They've nerfed Johanna, but they haven't nerfed her enough to stop the flashlight kill, and I think that's a-okay. That takedown will secure the objective channel for them. In the meanwhile, top fort taken down by the boss. Gambit still dealing with it and the wave. Arthanau has to deal with this null camp in mid, but with over 50% of the objective channeled, I think they're pretty pleased with that first go. Arrow getting a little bit of CDR on their heroic thanks to their level 13 loudspeaker. Nope. Echo pedal. Means that Mosh is already back up. I don't know if the Jaegers are familiar. There's a big commitment there. A huge leap in from Gambit. Arrow goes down, as does Arthanau. They're looking for Lulu here. Another taunt. Whole Foods falling low. A great Dragon's Arrow will peel for the Johanna, but Dehaka were able to secure a fort and an objective. The Jaegers will get a relatively free defense here, but definitely falling a little bit behind on the map at this point. Level 13, 9.20 has opted for Shattering Throw. So Whole Foods is a viable target. With that shield negation, it eliminates Johanna's unstoppable. Ogle the Great has already done a decent amount of damage to the last rider here. We've got a little bit of HP left on the top rider as well. Looks like Bot Fort will survive the objective phase, but likely no longer. Ogle the Great opting to Hearth out, feeling like it's a little sketchy there with the rest of Deny Defend Dehaka off the map. Of course, they're falling behind on XP now. Oh, a Dragon's Arrow commitment. I have to assume that was a misclick, and they meant to hit E for Sonic Arrow. A relatively low cooldown. It will be back up in a minute. But now trailing by almost a full level thanks to the missing minion XP and hero takedown XP. Of course, the passive XP will be in their favor, so Dehaka definitely can play the patient game for a little while. I'd love to see Ginormous Jaegers try and take advantage of this camp they had secured. Instead, Dehaka gonna get a pretty free clear of the Knolls with the next objective phase announced in the top side of the battleground. We've got a heavy rotation to bot lane. Next boss is up in 20 seconds. And with most of Dehaka showing on wave, Ginormous Jaegers know exactly where to respond. It's just a bait, it looks like. Arrow hiding in the bush. The minion from Asmodan, not enough to... Arrow face checks the Varian here. I don't think ETC is going to make this one out alive. The Falling Sword, not enough. The damage was too great. Whole Foods now taking a whole lot of damage. And there's the Johanna takedown. Nemesis pops the strafe as well. And it's going to be a fast work through this boss's HP. Nemesis opting for Frost Shot at 7 rather than Monster Hunter, but nonetheless, they're able to get through that boss lightning fast. Deny Defend Dehaka trying to corral these prison minions. Looks like they aren't able to eliminate all of them. And this bot fort, not long for this world, an extraordinarily healthy boss, is going to continue marching down the bot lane. Ginormous Jaegers in an excellent position, just around the corner from the Storm talent tier, just about there for level 20. Warwolf able to scout the top boss point for Deny Defend Dehaka, but I don't think they have any business responding with the Jaegers in control of the Storm talents. Speaking of, we've got Acrobat for Vala, Inner Fire for Koteb on the Anduin. Pride, of course, just 12 stacks away for Ogul the Great. Composite Spear, very cool. Gambit continuing to double down on the spear-based build with Rampage and Composite Spear at 16 and 20, and 9.20 opting for Glory to the Alliance. A smart check of the bush dismounts 9.20. Gambit now occupying. I don't know that Dehaka are going to get the opportunity to get into this objective before the channel is complete, not without their Storm talents at least. A excellent position for the Jaegers. Deny Defend Dehaka still looking for about a third of a level of XP, and it is difficult to do. Whole Foods in mid lane finds a little bit of experience, but backs right up once Ogul the Great runs their way. Smart choice, no doubt. Mid fort won't last not a moment longer. The Jaegers absolutely tearing through structures at this point. Deny Defend Dehaka will have their Storm talents for the defense. We've got Respect the Elderly, Kugelblitz, Bullseye, Death Metal, and Johanna still heavily considering what she might go at 20. It is going to be Heaven's Fury, so heroic upgrades almost the whole way around. We'll see how much siege damage the Jaegers can get here in this late game objective phase. There's a stun onto Nemesis. Arrow unable to connect with the follow-up. Bot lane still has a very healthy wave and objective, as does top. I don't know if the Jaegers are going to get through any of the keeps. There's the taunt. Johanna able to make it out alive. Stuns aplenty. There's a huge unstoppable. A lot of damage going on to 9.20. They're able to dodge some of the worst of it. There's a great wall from Arthanau. They're using their Shadow Walk to aggressively chase Ginormous Jaegers, but in the end, Dehaka unable to make anything happen with a great mosh pit from Arrow. Unfortunately, the layers of CC that Ginormous Jaegers are able to put out prevented any serious follow-up damage. Of course, if you're on the side of Dehaka, I have to assume that you're pleased to not have lost more in that objective phase. Just one keep missing. Not too much to do on the battleground. Next boss will be the bot boss in about 30 seconds. And so now the Jaegers can continue to play it slow. Battleground definitely working in their favor. Warwolf respecting the vision there, using the Sonic Arrow. And the Jaegers opting to party bush it. On the top side, no less. I'm guessing they're going to look to head towards top keep if the Jaegers show on bot wave. I'm sorry, if Dehaka shows on bot wave. Yeah, the heavy rotation of Dehaka to the top lane means that... Or, I'm sorry, of the Jaegers to the top lane. Oh my god, all 4 get hit by the stun. Arthanau is getting whacked to all hell. Continuing with the aggro there. No contest on the boss. Looks surprising. I think if the Jaegers had shown up, they would have been pleased to find a lot of the away team stunned out by the boss. But of course now it marches through bot lane in their favor. Looks like the Jaegers are going to respond with all 5 of their heroes, so Dehaka are able to get the channel here on the objective. 33 seconds left for the Jaegers. Of course, that number climbs for Dehaka at this point. With the boss all cleaned up, we'll see how the Jaegers want to get back into this. Dehaka a little bit ahead on the objective channel now. There's all the damage onto ETC. The death metal getting a lot of value here. A huge stun. Oh my god, Lulu with the bonk stick. And then Nemesis gets caught. Koteb a little bit late with the leap of faith. And so 3 takedowns. A huge death metal proc from Arrow. Deny Defend Dehaka definitely happy to secure that objective. Checking in on the top keep, though. I don't know how well it's going to fare. It's got a very healthy wave shooting away at it. Warwolf able to take care of the worst of it here. The keep will survive. I'm interested to see where Dehaka choose to push. Looks like we've got 4 heroes committed to the top lane rather than worrying about mid-fort. Takedowns still very even. 10 to 8 in favor of the Jaegers, but it's been the late game takedowns that have been most important, and Dehaka have been securing those with some pretty big heroic synergies, especially with the Storm upgrades. Warwolf taking 50% of their HP off of one of Ogle the Great's dunks. A little bit of scratch damage onto the keep. Less damage than their own keep took, unfortunately. So, whoa. Oh! Oh, no! Oh, Nemesis is falling very low here. A big strafe. In the end, everyone makes it out alive. Warwolf very low, so the rest of Dehaka are going to have to back up here. Dehaka were able to get some progress on keep walls. Looks like they're committing once again to the top lane. They don't have all of their heroics. And there's a dismounted Warwolf. Arrow charged here. There's the stun onto 2. Gambit in the back lane onto Artha now. The Sonya is running rampant here, but now they're stuck on an island. They leapt in, they cannot leap out. Warwolf taking a whole lot of damage. Another Sonic Arrow onto 9.20 to cover the retreat. Warwolf giving Dehaka a little bit more space to retreat here. Top boss is available. Light Bomb is still up on the side of the Jaegers, but it looks like they don't feel as though that or Strafe are strong enough tools to contest this boss. Instead, they're going to get busy here in mid lane. I love to see this proactivity, getting through this mid camp. With this heavy wave as well, they might be able to secure the mid keep. Ogle stayed around a little bit too long, I think. I don't know if they make it out. Oh, they do. Artha now second guessing where the hearth might have happened. Ginormous Jaegers, true smooth criminals, all make it out for another day. Koteb procs the stun out in lane so that Nemesis can get some free DPS. That's just really good micro on the boss. Boss is getting through a lot of this keep, but I don't think it will eliminate it before it's taken out. And it looks like top keep will survive. Meanwhile, Deny Defend Dehaka have been busy at the objective phase with Ogle the Great channeling in mid. There's the Sonic Era stun onto Koteb. All heroics up on both sides. 9.20 looking for the taunt there onto the... Oh my gosh! Immediate blow up onto the Hanzo. Arrow trying to get a big death mosh here. But in the end, all of Ginormous Jaegers live to fight another day. Arth now falling very low here. Ogle the Great looking for a trample kill. Able to sidestep the power slide. One more dunk onto Lulu there. And 9.20 is mounted. Arrow able to dismount the Varian with loudspeakers at level 4. I like this aggressive positioning. I would love to see the Jaegers press up and take out this keep, instead opting to fall back and play for the objective side. We have Warwolf up again in the next 15 seconds. Mid-keep will survive. And of course, Boss will regen all the damage it's taken. Arrow scouts 9.20. They don't have Mosh available. 9.20 in deep here. Whole Foods taking a lot of damage. There's a huge arrow from downtown. Warwolf able to secure another stun onto Koteb. This time, Varian goes down. Gambit pulled out of their spin. Arth now very low. They make it out alive nonetheless. The objective neutralized by the prison defenders. And now Arrow mounted up, looking to chase down Gambit. A huge stun from Warwolf. Gambit tried to escape. Ogle the Great looking for the turn kills. A lot of damage behind each one of those dunks, but in the end, Deny Defend Dehaka able to secure that camp. Ginormous Jaegers a little bit too aggressive in attempting the invade after Varian got split off. We can check in on mid lane. A very strong push with the Null camp and a healthy wave behind it. Ogle the Great has been scouted. The dismounts are enough to get the Asmodan out. At the very least, it denies Deny Defend Dehaka from picking up that camp. Still missing Sonya for the next 10 seconds or so. 9.20 trying to get aggressive here. Arrow fending them off with a power slide. If you're on the side of Deny Defend Dehaka, you really want to be playing for at least one more keep. There's the stun onto 9.20. An interrupt with the light bomb. Oh, a huge leap. Lulu caught the Death Mosh, finding Gambit. Nemesis chasing down Lulu on the top side. They'll fall. Of course, the core died, so it kind of doesn't matter how the fight went. But in the end, a tight contest comes down to a little bit of a botched camp invade from Ginormous Jaegers. So Deny Defend Dehaka are able to take it on their map pick for Game 1. GG to both of our teams. Let me double check here, and we can take a look at the stats. Please come back. Hey, there they go. Asmodan able to get top marks on all categories thanks to their Demon Lieutenant as well as their massive dunks. On the other side, Warwolf on Hanzo, not too shabby with 75k themselves. Checking in on our builds as well. Anything out of the ordinary. A pretty standard Q build for Nemesis. Opting for siphoning arrows rather than Gloom at 13. That is one of the more flexible talent tiers. Koteb, of course, getting both the movement speed from Leap of Faith and the double charge of Leap of Faith at 13 and 16. So a strong back and forth first game. These teams look very evenly matched. we can see where we might be headed for Game 2. And for those who tuned in midway through Game 1, welcome. Happy to have you. We are in the middle of a best of 3 in Division C here of NGS. We've got Ginormous Jaegers taking on Deny Defend Dehaka. And we've already seen both teams willing to scrap it up. Deny Defend Dehaka with a little bit more of a creative draft, opting for both Johanna and ETC. And the offlane Johanna, not the offlane ETC, which takes me by surprise. I would think ETC, with his ability to opt into a global via stage dive, would be the more natural choice, especially with how much survivability trouble he can have into Ginormous Jaeger's Varian blow-up draft. But in the end, Dehaka able to make it look very clean and polished. They got some pretty solid death mosh value there in the end. So Arrow definitely recognizing that he was the primary target and wanted to punish Ginormous Jaegers for continuing to pick on the cow. With how well they played the map, I would expect to see Ginormous Jaegers... Well, they did opt for first pick when they were given the selection. I imagine they'll opt for first pick once again. If so, I would think something a little bit stronger than the Anduin might be in their interest, although I'm not sure how much overlap they've got with Dehaka's hero pools. It very well could be that these teams are drafting past one another, more or less. Update the scorecard there. Excellent. Oh, and thank you for the follow, Calamancy. I'm sure that was ages ago. And Ektar mentioning that Ginormous Jaegers are my #1 draft pick for winning Division C. Lots of faith in the Jaegers, which is very interesting. I believe the most recent season that any of Ginormous Jaegers have participated in was back in Season 10. So, if not Season 13, so either 9 or 6 seasons missing from organized play. And of course, lots of fresh faces as well. 9.20, one of the rookie players on the side of the Jaegers. So it's good to see a fresh face, someone joining our fair league, taking it to the pavement, as it were, taking it to the streets. I want to say it's Peter Gabriel? You Zoomers don't know what that means. Moving on. I'll go back to say I think Ginormous Jaegers might want to opt for map pick here. I think being able to select the battleground, being able to go to another large battleground would definitely be in their interest, given how much attention they were playing to playing the map. We know based off of the bans that Deny Defend Dehaka don't love things as weird and big as Garden of Terror, but Cursed Hollow is still available. We could also see a Volskaya Foundry that has recently been changed in the most recent patch. The robot got buffs. Well deserved, I would think. The robot isn't as bad. Everybody should get in it and use it. It's good. If you are out of the loop on the patch, you can use !patch in chat, and that'll link you over to the latest patch notes. What are the things that I remember offhand? I know Oriole got a little bit of buff. Johanna got a little bit of nerf. The Protector, the Volskaya Protector, got a little bit of a buff. Past that, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I didn't pay super close attention. So perhaps I too should go brush back up on the patch notes. And it looks like we have our next battleground selected. We are headed to Volskaya Foundry. Very cool. So the Dehaka, or Deny Defend Dehaka, able to pick their battleground once again. Ginormous Jaegers opting instead for first pick again. So we'll see if they feel like they've got enough scouting based off of their first game to change up their draft a bit. Deny Defend Dehaka, their comp from last game could absolutely work on this battleground as well. Tassadar able to control a lot of space with Force Wall around the objective perimeter. Deckard's zone control, also a really strong choice. So we'll see if Ginormous Jaegers want to adjust their bans at all, or if they're going to stick with the Brightwing Stukov. Alright, looks like we've got all players in the lobby, so we should be off and running here shortly. I'll say it's also great to have everyone back on the channel. I haven't been live on my own channel in what feels like 6 months. I'm sure it's not quite that long, but the postseason of seasons 18 for NGS, I ended up getting to do a handful of broadcasts on the league's Twitch channel. And so this channel has been dormant for quite some time. It's great to have everybody back and watching. And I'm excited to bring many more casts for the rest of the season. If you want to check out any of the previous broadcasts that I've done, you can find the VODs on my Twitch channel here. You can also use the !YT, and that'll take you over to my YouTube channel if you want to see more HOTS and you can't get enough. Those games, of course, will be on a previous patch, but the patches have not been so large that the games are unrecognizable. Looks like we've got a couple different folks in chat cheering for the Jaegers. The Jaegers will need to get a win here if they want to keep this series going and have us go the distance for the full 3 games. I'll say both teams doing very well with their portrait synergy. Not something that you as an audience can see, but I want to assure you that they indeed have figured out that you get a buff as a team if you have a theme of some variety for your portraits. Specifically, Ginormous Jaegers has opted rather for identical ones for a series of related ones, and those subtle themes are the things that I really appreciate. And we have all players back and readying up here, so we will be getting into our second draft of the series. Volskaya Foundry, the battleground, most recently buffed in the patch. Alright, last time round, the Jaegers banned out Brightwing and Stukov to start off with. We'll see if they want to keep those, or if there are other heroes that they saw in Game 1 that they feel are going to require more attention. Brightwing still the first choice for them. Dehaka banned Dehaka last time. This is a bad map for Dehaka, so just by picking this battleground, they've already kind of denied the Dehaka. I imagine we'll see a new ban here in the first slot, perhaps a Varian. It's going to be Zeratul instead. A little bit of a pocket pick on the side of Ginormous Jaegers. And with a battleground that often goes late, a hero that scales as hard as Zeratul does is a wise ban, I would think. Next ban here for Ginormous Jaegers. We'll see if they stick with the Stukov that we saw in Game 1. They will indeed. And with two healers banned, they may look to first pick another support, as they did last time round. It was an Anduin first pick. Of course, before that, Deny Defend Dehaka still have one ban left in the chamber. It was Junkrat last game, which is a bit more of a Alterac specific ban. It's going to be Sonya instead. A wise choice. Gambit looking very strong on the Barbarian. First pick here for the Jaegers. They grabbed a Anduin last time round. I expect with their heavy healer emphasis in their bans, they will look to pick up a healer before the next ban phase. First picking Johanna instead. Excellent. And I will say, Whole Foods definitely got some major value there. A very quick response with the Vala Anduin on the side of Deny Defend Dehaka. Whole Foods did get a lot of value out of the Falling Sword and Heaven's Fury upgrade in that game, so not surprised to see Ginormous Jaegers try and deny that choice and grab the Johanna for themselves. We're going to get Rhaegar and Li Ming as follow-up. So, wave clear in both the tank and healer slots for the Jaegers. They still need an offlaner as well as one more flex pick. I imagine Deny Defend Dehaka will ban something from the offlane. Perhaps another late scaling hero like a Leoric. Instead, opting for the Greymane ban. Okay. Dehaka has definitely done their homework more than I have with their scouting, and so they're calling out specific comfort picks from the Jaegers. Last ban here for Ginormous Jaegers. I'd expect to see a tank ban. Going to be a Nubarak. Alright. Next two choices for Deny Defend Dehaka. I would love to see them pick at least one of their frontliners here. Perhaps both of the traditional frontliners, offlane and tank, leaving one last flex pick for Arthnau. Alright, Varian and Orphea. So, the Rin family swapping sides, going to help out Deny Defend Dehaka in Game 2. after the Jaegers got a lot of mileage out of the combo in Game 1 on Alterac. Last 2 picks here for the Jaegers, an offlaner and 1 flex pick. Tychus and Blaze. I like the Tychus pickup. Li Ming able to finish off kills after Tychus gets them nice and low, chunked out with their minigun. Last pick here for Arrow. It is either tank or offlane. Varian is technically a flex pick at level 4, though we most often see taunt, and there's Leoric. Alrighty. So let's take a look at our drafts as our teams go through the swap round and get ready for Game 1. Varian into Johanna once again, as happened in Game 1. The Orphea follow-up for a taunt is pretty devastating. So Li Ming and Rhaegar, both, Tychus as well, frankly, are going to have to play very cautiously around the engage from Deny Defend Dehaka. Of course, if Varian is careless with their HP pool, Nemesis and Ogle the Great might just eat him alive with the Li Ming Tychus combo. We'll have to see how it all goes down as we get into Game 2 here in our series. We can introduce the Ginormous Jaegers looking to take us to a game number 3, evening out the score if they can. We've got Koteb on Rhaegar, Gambit on Blaze, Nemesis playing Tychus, Ogle the Great on Li Ming, and 9.20 playing Johanna. To the right in red, trying to seal it out with a domination, Deny Defend Dehaka. We've got Lulu on Anduin, Arthanau on Orphea, Arrow on Varian, Warwolf on Vala, and Whole Foods playing Leoric. Checking in, we do have questing talents once again. Very interesting. We've got Creed of the Hunter for Warwolf this time rather than a Q build. 9.20 taking a lot of damage. Arrow getting pretty aggressive themselves. And we've got Koteb opting for Stormcaller at level 4. Not what I typically see from Rhaegar's, but fair enough. It increases damage? Increases health. I don't know. I don't know if that's the sauce. 9.20 trying to catch Arthanau here. Arrow able to avoid most of the damage of Nemesis thanks to their W button. Parry definitely helpful for weathering Tychus's minigun. Whole Foods is going to have a little bit of an advantage here in bot lane fighting Gambit, while we've got Deny Defend Dehaka onto their siege camp already. Checking in on mid lane, Ogle the Great trying to get a little bit of damage onto Warwolf there. A early camp grab for Dehaka means that they'll be able to potentially play for the healing beacon biotic emitter, whatever it's called. I believe it's biotic emitter. It is a little challenging for them to do that while Arrow has yet to secure their level 4. With Taunt online now, however, they could look to play for it. Death Dealer, the level 4 choice for Warwolf, continuing in the basic attack build for Vala. We've got Chaotic Assault paired with Ancestral Strength for Arthanau on the Orphea. A trait-based build. 9.20 also opting for Hold Your Ground at level 4 rather than perhaps the more commonly seen Condemn. Condemn pulls them into a punish, and the punish talent is called Subdue. Whew. Thanks for following me along that journey, folks. Anything else out of the ordinary? I haven't called out any of the Blaze talents, but we've got a somewhat abnormal, so to say, build going for Endurance, Stim Pack at level 1, and Oil Dispersal at level 4. Whole Foods has begun the channel on Objective A. We're going to get a little bit of progress here before they have to scoot off. They're dropping a bot wave. Of course, top wave is in favor of Deny Defend Dehaka, thanks to that camp pickup. Ginormous Jaegers picked theirs a little bit early, and so a real fast 50% without any sort of contest from the Jaegers. Level 7 just around the corner for both of our teams here. Checking in. We've got Blood and Thunder at 7 for Koteb, looking for a doggy-based build, it seems. A very aggressive playstyle. Both turrets get dropped. Deny Defend Dehaka are going to be able to bring the point to 99% here. Overtime gets triggered. Nemesis uses the dash to look for Artha now, but they've found Warwolf instead. Gambit unable to connect with the jet propulsion in time. So that's first takedown, going over to Deny Defend Dehaka. Ginormous Jaegers have continued stalling out this point, but they're not going to be able to do it without their Tychus. So first objective going over to Deny Defend Dehaka as well. The recent buffs increased the rate at which the cooldowns come back, I'm pretty sure. So you get more damage out of the Protector for the same amount of time. It still can be very challenging to push alongside the Protector, but it looks like Deny Defend Dehaka are content to do just that. Checking in on our level 1 quests to see how we're doing. Only 37 stacks for Warwolf thus far. We've got 13 globes collected by 9.20 for their Laws of Hope. Artha now connects the empowered auto onto Gambit there. Arrow finding a lurking Ginormous Jaegers. And Heroics just around the corner. Warwolf caught on an island here. Oh, 9.20, unable to connect with the Condemn. And they're going to be able to get out without any trouble thanks to their level 7 Steed Charge. 20-second cooldown on that mobility tool. Heroics are online. We've got Reign of Vengeance for Vala. Vala received a nerf recently. Her level 16 Manticore was also affected in the most recent patch. Leoric has opted for Entomb at 10. Light Bomb, Eternal Feast. Nothing out of the ordinary here. On the other side, we've got Ancestral Healing, Bunker Drop. And we will update y'all when we see the rest of them. I would expect to see Blessed Shield from 9.20. The Jaegers will be left without much of a engage if they opt for Falling Sword. Both teams playing it very cautiously. We haven't seen either side make moves towards that heal camp. Arrow has not been scouted yet. They're going to connect with Nemesis there. A great stun. There's the Purge. Arth now falling low here. Both offlaners are nearby in mid lane. A lot of fireworks, but nothing too serious. Blessed Shield was used. Didn't connect on anyone for a takedown, however. A huge Reign of Vengeance from Warwolf. They're falling low on mana. Nemesis gets a grenade here. Arrow unable to find anyone with another engage. Ogul the Great gets the scout onto Arrow here. A very aggressive rotation from the Johanna will draw aggression from Dehaka and the Ancestral Healing from Rhaegar. With the Ancestral down, I would really love to see Deny Defend Dehaka try and force a fight over this Biotic Emitter. Looks like they're not too worried about it. 13's just around the corner for the red team. This is where Whole Foods on Leoric in particular starts to come online. Level 13, a important talent tier. Oh my gosh, no one checked the party bush. 9.20, a huge light bomb, but it looks like Johanna's going to make it out alive. What looked like a massive engage, the light bomb follow-up with the feast, but the Jaegers make it out to tell the tale. Shattering Throw online for Arrow as well, so it's going to be harder for 9.20 to stand and deliver in the front line. We've got Commandeer Odin used by Nemesis. They're going to try and ward the rest of Deny Defend Dehaka off point here. Nemesis able to trade favorably into Warwolf now that they outrange them. A quick 38%. There's a lot of damage onto 9.20. A huge stun onto... Oh, Whole Foods finds 2. Arthanau falling very low here. Nemesis able to escape. Receives the Ancestral Healing. Whole Foods and Arrow, the targets now. A great Blessed Shield. Arthanau in a lot of trouble. A huge Jet Propulsion lands onto 2. And there's the first takedown. Arthanau will fall. Ogle the Great able to escape with just a sliver of HP. Warwolf really chasing them down. Getting a lot of healing through Tempered by Discipline. Already up to 77 stacks on Creed of the Hunter at level 1. A real back and forth fight, but in the end the Jaegers able to take it with a takedown onto Arthanau. Orphea has to get in pretty close quarters to deal most of her damage in the form of Chomp and Shadow Waltz. So it's not surprising that she's the one to fall, especially when Gambit has been landing those 2 and 3 hero jet propulsions. Koteb, the target of the taunt. A big Entomb catches 3. Nemesis in a lot of trouble. There's the light bomb connects. Warwolf vaults in. A huge Rain of Vengeance catches 2. Koteb able to make it out alive on Rhaegar, but Nemesis not as lucky. 96% secured for the Jaegers. With Tychus still waiting for respawn for the next 20 seconds, I don't know if they're going to be able to get one more push onto point B. With the Blaze showing bot side, I have to expect the Jaegers are willing to forego the second objective as well. Root lands onto 9.20. Both sides neck and neck on the experience. Kind of surprising to me. Either way, looks like we've only got one hero. Oh, Arrow surrounded by 4. Uses the Protected early. It's a lot of damage onto Arrow. Will draw... Oh, draws the Leap of Faith, which escapes the Blessed Shield. 9.20 trying to hold that heroic until the last possible moment. But Lulu able to save Arrow in spite of all that. Whole Foods is coming up. They've got another Entomb. We'll see if they look to use it here. 9.20 is the target. Another Light Bomb. There's the Ancestral Healing. 9.20 isn't going to be able to last through it. Ogle the Great falling very low here. Wolf chasing him down. Whole Foods has drawn Fort aggro. The Woofer is far in the front. Leoric will fall. Warwolf eats a full combo from Ogle the Great. Oh my gosh, they're looking for more, but Warwolf very healthy still. Whole Foods trying to slow the advance of the Jaegers. In the end, they trade 1 for 1. Midfort goes down. Level 16's on both sides. It's unlocked Manticore and Sizzlin attacks, so both auto attackers hitting even harder with percent damage. We also saw the Mirror Ball from Ogle the Great at level 16. A huge damage power spike for them as well. A little bit of an experience lead for the Jaegers. Just a fraction. Just a scotch. Of course, that biotic emitter is going to help push them a little bit further ahead. But if they don't respond in bot, which it looks like they're all represented very heavily on the top side, Deny Defend Dehaka are going to get a lot of pushing done down here. You do not want an auto-attack Vala free sieging your fort, that's for sure. How many deaths? No deaths. Yeah, full attack speed still. There's the Entomb. Gambit able to escape that with the bunker drop, putting a lot of damage onto Whole Foods here. But in the end, the 5-hero commitment will take out the Blaze. They're not going to be able to get the kill in response. That takedown will bring the experience a bit more even. Ginormous Jaegers sticking around for a while here. They still see Vala in bot lane, so they're not too worried about this long stay. 9.20. Arthanow and Ogle the Great going at it 1v1. In the end, Ogle gets the blink in with the Calamity. 9.20 trying to escape. They're able to use their trait. Ogle also on the retreat. Koteb falls low. They've already used the Ancestral. Oh my god, a snipe from Ogle! Unable to connect with another round of spells. Arrow finds another taunt. Of course, there's no damage behind it. Lulu a little bit eager with that leap of faith. Perhaps a little more of a commitment than they needed. With the power play they've secured, Ginormous Jaegers are going to push forward, try and put a little damage onto this mid fort. Whole Foods doing what they can to dissuade the side of the Jaegers. Storm Talent's just around the corner here. But we've still got to wait on Vala for another 5 seconds or so. Looks like mid-fort will withstand the worst of Ginormous Jaegers' power play. Gambit securing the turret camp here on the bot side, with Arthanow showing top on the Orphea. This is a big wave. I would love to see someone from Jaegers respond to this. It's going to get a lot of damage done on that top fort. But with the Orphea showing topside, the Jaegers get aggressive onto the turret camp here. They're going to be able to steal this one away. So they're getting pretty darn tooled up with two turrets and a biotic emitter. It also looks like the Jaegers are willing to forfeit their top fort. I don't know if Gambit is going to be able to stop this camp from finishing off the structure. With Blaze showing topside, Deny Defend Dehaka are happy to get additional progress. They've secured all of the protectors thus far, which is also what's put them so far ahead on the structure front. Ginormous Jaegers want to get top lane pushing before they respond down to point C. Whole Foods and Arrow both turtled up on the point here. The Jaegers are taking a slow rotation to the point, pushing out a wave. I can understand wanting to get the lane vision, but I don't know if they've got the luxury of time here. They're going to have to get aggressive nonetheless. No one's scouted Arrow. Ogle the Great finds them now. 9.20 eats the taunt. Oh, they narrowly escape the Entomb. That was Silence Entomb too. The funkiness of the freaking roundabouts treadmills. Plus, I have to think that 9.20's use of Steed Charge helped them escape the buried alive there. Nemesis has popped Odin. Big red button means this won't last long. Varian the target. Arrow takes so much damage. They're unable to connect the rest of it. Heroics is coming back off cooldown for Dehaka. They'll look for another Entomb here. Ginormous Jaegers used some of their heroics to look for that pick onto Varian, so they're missing it now. Whole Foods taking a lot of punishment from Ogle on the side here. Gambit, jet propulsion's in, has to use the bunker. Arrow looking for another taunt, finds Gambit. Gambit's falling very low, gets the Ancestral. There's the double proc. I don't think this Blaze lives. Yeah, Blaze is not going to survive this. Massive. And I'm sorry, this feast is never going to stop because of the Protector. Arthanau just gets infinite feast. Truly eternal. Ooh, another takedown. Man, what an interesting tech pick. I've never seen that interaction before. Man, that was so punishing for the Jaegers. Deny Defend Dehaka definitely look very comfortable on their battleground selection. Would love to see them get a little bit of structure damage out of this power play. Of course, Vala is most of their building damage, and with her waiting on respawn, they're not going to be able to get as much done as I think they would like. Nonetheless, it's late game and everyone's got an auto attack. So with that and a catapult behind them, they're going to commit the turret as well. So they are pretty darn adamant about getting this bot keep. They're going to be able to do it before Li Ming spawns. Ogle the Great still 5 seconds away from rejoining the fray. Arthanau has found Gambit. There's the stun onto 2. Koteb bites in. A huge silence Entomb. A great escape with the bunker. Koteb uses the Ancestral. Not yet. They're holding on to it. Whole Foods falling very low. They're getting a lot of damage. Oh my gosh, a reset. Arrow sub 1000 HP. Gambit draws the Ancestral. There's the double proc of it. Ogle the Great blinks in once again. And at 16, Hunger of the Wolf rather than Earthgrasp Totem. Surprising. So still not as much chase as I think the Jaegers would have liked to have, given their relatively low crowd control composition. Committing the Iron Skin to get through mid-fort. Evening out the catapult pressure here in mid lane. They're still pretty far away from their heroics. 9.20 does not have her unstoppable. It's not going to come back in time. There's the proc, however. They're going to be able to escape. Gambit gets one more stun, but they choose to stun in rather than out. They're taking so much damage. Whole Foods goes down, as does the Blaze. So 1 for 1 on offlaners. I think you're happy with that trade on the side of Deny Defend Dehaka. Your Leoric will be back sooner than Ginormous Jaeger's Blaze. And we've still got a camp in top for the Jaegers to tend to. The wave is pretty healthy. I don't think they're going to be able to get here in time, not with Deny Defend Dehaka responding in kind. I spoke too soon. Fort lives. Whole Foods spawning here in just a moment. They've opted for Drain Hope at 13 and 16. So they're able to drop big damage. There's the silence. Able to escape. Has to use the Blessed Shield for the escape. Oh my gosh, so much damage onto Warwolf. They draw the first charge. Lulu uses the second charge onto Arrow. Ogle the Great continues to chase in here, connects a lot of damage onto Arthur now, blinks in as well. Unable to find that takedown for the reset. There's the taunt from Arrow, trying to get the solo kill onto the Li Ming. Some absolute huge micro plays from both 9.20 and Koteb on the Rhaegar. Absolutely insane Rhaegar play, truth told. The puppy's a little bit slower than a mount, but it looks like they're going to be able to make it out alive. Whole Foods in the front once again, looking for an Entomb onto 9.20, no doubt. The Jaegers happy to let Blaze push up bot wave a little bit, and we have a pause. That's too bad. We'll see if we can figure out what's going on. Looks like we have a little bit of a lag issue on the side of Deny Defend Dehaka. So as soon as those bits begin flowing a little bit more, we should be back into the game. This is definitely a tense position. Deny Defend Dehaka definitely enjoying a little bit more breathing room, given that they've already taken down a keep. Ginormous Jaegers have been unable to find constant catapult pressure. Looks like we'll be getting back into the game here shortly. We've found someone for the reconnection. Absolutely. All right, so we should be good to go here in 2 shakes. And we're fighting over the second set of protectors on point A. We should be gearing up for another big one. Let's get right back into it. Whole Foods base checks the bush, but 9.20... I see. Ginormous Jaegers threatening the rotation up through the mid lane there. Arrow really far ahead of the team. Would love to see someone check this bush. Nemesis, throw a grenade at it, buddy. Gambit, throw a flame stream at it, buddy. They'll drop the turret. Ogle the Great finds Arrow. Arrow's all alone. Can Varian survive this? Looks like he can. Whole Foods booped in. Silence lands onto the Li Ming. Ogle able to escape with the double proc on the Ancestral. 9.20 makes it out alive with the Indestructible. Warwolf trying to get all the damage done. Arrow will fall. Ogle the Great looking for more resets. Warwolf falling low. The target. One more auto will take out Ogle, but they're able to escape. Nemesis continues to chase. Nemesis, you're alone, bud. You're going to die. Oh my gosh. Both teams throwing caution to the wind here. It's a very healthy protector, but it went the wrong way. And while the objective fight was happening, top keep went down. So Lulu responding to the catapult pressure there. Whole Foods respawning here in but a moment. Yeah, that silence might just do it. Especially with a W build. Whew. Yeah, the Jaegers not really respecting how much late game power Deny Defend Dehaka have. They'll have a power play for a considerable amount of time now. Whole Foods threatening the rest of the Jaegers with a walk-in. Warwolf trying to get their hatred stacks up, using the vault to close a little bit of distance here. And they've got level 20 Farflight Quiver Vala. Vala already up to 217 stacks, and both DPS now in the Protector means they'll be able to pop out with full HP. Ogle the Great trying to fight past But with no one paying attention to the Protector, they're going to end the game, and Deny Defend Dehaka are able to take it in a 2-0. GG and well played. So there you have it. A domination win for Deny Defend Dehaka. Able to take it on both of their battleground selections. They looked very comfortable playing the varying composition in Game 2. We can take a look at our post-game stats here. And a very even takedown game. I have to think that if the Jaegers hadn't been overly aggressive on their chase down after Deny Defend Dehaka secured that fourth Protector, if they might have survived. A little bit of a bummer for them. All right. So let me see if I can wrangle the teams for a post-game interview. I am very excited to see the Jaegers performing as well as they did against the Triple D team. These are previous season champions, so we know that they're a very strong side. Nothing to scoff at. And both teams able to take it to the wire. See if we're able to get a friend here. What a great way to start the season for both of our teams. Typing and speaking, I can't do both. All right, and we are going to be joined here. Let me just kick over to the interview scene so everyone can hear y'all. GG's and well played. How are you feeling after your domination to start the season?
Excellent.
Feeling great. Honestly, I don't think we've had a practice that has had more than a 50% win rate since we got together as a team. There's always had been something going terribly wrong, so this was amazing to have happen.
Our practices have been particularly plagued between people having babies and, people having spouses and children. It makes it really difficult to play a video game sometimes when everybody's an adult, you know?
Oh, absolutely. I can fully sympathize there. This is the first showing that we've got for Ginormous Jaegers. What are your sense of your opponents? It looks like they were pretty strong, very close to games in my view. Do you guys have thoughts on your opponents?
Yes. They played fantastically and kind of terrified a little bit. We had a lot of really close calls in there. And, Ogle is a long-standing name in the NGS community, so knowing that we had to go against Ogle on the first round was a little bit... It made me a little bit sweaty.
It was intimidating, for sure.
Yeah. So it was for what it's worth, it was a lot of fun playing against them and having a very challenging matchup. And, no doubt that could have coin flipped the other way on both games, with just a slight difference. So I think, that's a team that if we face them again, we don't sleep on that.
Yes, absolutely. And I think you're right on the money. Both games extraordinarily tight, could have flipped either way. The late game chase in game 2 after y'all had secured the final Protector, if they had played that a little more cautiously, it might have gone a little bit differently. If they were able to get their kills on core during Alterac a little bit quicker, yeah, it was really tooth and nail. I thought you guys did a great job keeping your composure. When games are that tight, what are comms like for y'all? Is it cool, calm, and collected? Is it hectic as all get out? Like, what's the sauce that you guys have to clutch up in those last moments?
I mean,
Go
I
go
think
ahead, Lulu.
that's something we really just figured out like this week is getting Arrow more comfy and having his voice and shot calling as the tank, which has helped us a lot in those moments. It's just that much quicker for everyone to react when it's coming straight from the tank, not from somebody to the tank to everybody. But it's a little bit of like, here's this plan we have, so we're calm there, but also very, very excited when we got some of those picks with the protector at the end.
Yeah, that was pretty exciting. I have to assume that Arthanau was very pleased with some of the plays that they were able to make. Point C in particular, being able to use Eternal Feast on the Protector to stop them from getting in the Protector and having it go forever. It's not an interaction I've seen before. Is that something that you guys knew? Is that part of the logic behind the Orphea pick?
No. I haven't seen it. I don't know if Arrow's seen it.
I mean, I've definitely seen it, and I'm fairly sure that Arthanau knew of that interaction. I can't be 100% sure. I'm not him, but I'm pretty sure that was known.
He seemed surprised by it, if he knew.
Oh, okay. Well,
I mean, it was...
Well, listen, it worked out.
Yeah,
It was,
hugely impactful.
Yeah, it allowed us to get some kills out of that, keep them from getting that robot, and because that again, the coin flip, right? That goes slightly differently just in that fight, and we lose that bottom keep for sure. So it was there's no doubt in my mind that Arthanau was top tier MVP that game, especially with that second, well, I guess not the second, but the protector right after that, getting pushing a lot into the Tychus and ultimately getting that blaze pushed into the tower to
really not respecting that Whole Foods was just about to spawn with the Entomb, and yeah, that was really good synergy between those two in that late game. All right, those are all of the questions I've got. Before I let you head back to celebrate with your team, the floor is yours for any shout-outs you want to give.
I mean, shout out to the team. Like I said, it's been a little bit of a bumpy road so far. So we were really anxious to get into the season, actually get into some matches, and recently we are starting to get a little bit of a groove, so it just feels good to start off with a win, and looking forward to seeing how the season goes.
I will add to that shout out to the Jaegers. They played an absolutely fantastic match, and again, could have gone either way. Don't sleep on that team. Thanks to you for picking up the cast. Always fantastic to have a caster, and the first week, that's really, really wonderful. And shout out to all of our loyal fans out there in Twitch chat, which I know that we had at least one or two out there, so we appreciate you.
Awesome. Well, I'll let you get back. Thanks for the interview, and have a great rest of the season.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
So there you have it. The first set of games for both teams. A fresh look at Ginormous Jaegers. In the end, Deny Defend Dehaka able to take it 2-0. But as has been said again and again, both games were on a knife's edge. So I look forward to seeing how both of these teams continue to play throughout the season. And if those late-game team fights get a little bit cleaner for the Jaegers, I think they are going to be a force to be reckoned with. All right, it looks like that's going to do it for me here. Before I head out, I want to do some shoutouts of my own. Shoutouts to all of you for tuning in. It wouldn't be half a stream without an audience, so it's great to have everybody here to support our teams and cheer them on. A big shout out to NGS and all the volunteer staff for everything that they do to keep the league running. 19 seasons. It's a long time. It's a lot of work from a lot of folks. So Be sure to thank your div mods, your caster leadership, your events staff, anyone and everyone. They work hard and it's all for free. And last but not least, a shout out to all of the artists, musicians, and programmers whose work I feature here on the stream. It wouldn't look or sound anywhere near as good without their contributions. I've got credits coming up here in a credit roll. You can also use command !credits in chat if you want to find their work. I would strongly recommend checking it out. It's all open source material, so if you've seen or heard anything you like, you might be able to use it in your next project. Until next time, good luck and have fun out there. Peace and love.